What makes a mark that truly lasts? We see people chasing fame, money,
Yeah.
stuff that just fades.
Right. Grand buildings even crumble.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what if the real power, the lasting thing, is something else? Something about who we are?
Yeah. That's a really great place to start, actually. It puts us right into what we're exploring today.
Which is,
We're diving into parts of this ancient text, virtue's reward, wickedness's ruin.
okay.
Think of it like reflections on the big things: virtue, wickedness, life, death, judgment, even.
Right. So definitely not your average scroll through the newsfeed.
Not at all.
Our mission here, as always, is to kind of dig out the wisdom from these old ideas, see what still clicks, for you today.
Hmm.
We're especially looking at how it contrasts a virtuous life with a wicked one. And its take on dying young is, well, pretty unexpected.
It really is. It pushes you to question how we normally measure success, right? Or just living a long time. So for you, if you're looking for that deeper understanding, this deep dive, it's a chance to rethink what makes a life really significant. What kind of legacy lasts?
Okay, let's get into it then. The text kicks off with this pretty striking statement.
Yeah.
Better is childlessness with virtue, for immortal is the memory of virtue, acknowledged both by God and human beings.
Wow. That's powerful straight away.
It really is. It's suggesting your character, your virtue. That's a stronger legacy than even having kids. Why do you think virtue gets that kind of weight here?
Well, what's fascinating isn't just that it's remembered, it's how it acts in the world. The text says, when it is present, people imitate it and they long for it when it is gone.
So it's active, not just a passive memory.
Exactly. It's this dynamic force. It shapes behavior, not by force,
Yeah.
but just by inspiration. People see it, they value it, it resonates somehow.
It's like it has its own kind of gravity,
Right.
pulling people towards it, not just sitting there like a statue.
That's a great way to put it, a living influence.
And the description that follows, it paints this picture. Forever it marches crowned in triumph, victorious in unsullied deeds of valor. Virtue isn't just nice, it's...
Triumphant, victorious, yeah.
Yeah.
It's strong, not passive.
Okay, so that's virtue. Now let's flip the coin.
Huh.
What about wickedness,
Mm.
especially its effect, say, on the next generation?
Right. The contrast is stark. The text says, the numerous progeny of the wicked shall be of no avail.
Know of it.
Yeah, like even if there are lots of them, it doesn't matter. Their spurious offshoots shall not strike deep root nor take firm hold.
So it might look successful on the surface.
But there's no real foundation, no
Yeah.
lasting impact. Why do you think it focuses so much on those roots or the lack of them?
It makes me think of those plants, that shoot up fast but have shallow roots. One strong wind and they're gone. The text uses these really vivid images, like branches flourishing for a time, but they're unsteady, uprooted by the wind.
And the fruit?
Oh yeah, the broken off, untimely twigs with fruit that's useless, unripe for eating, fit for nothing. Ouch. Really hammers home the idea of ultimate worthlessness.
That imagery, it just powerfully shows how temporary any gains from wickedness are, doesn't it?
It really does.
It suggests that without that moral core, any outward success is just fragile.
And it connects it directly to the kids, too.
Yeah, that line, for children born of lawless unions give evidence of the wickedness of their parents when they are examined. It's quite direct.
Implying that the parents' flaws are sort of mirrored in the children makes you wonder what the author was seeing around them.
It does. So, okay, we have this strong contrast. Enduring virtue versus fleeting wickedness.
Right.
And then the text takes this turn, which you mentioned is surprising, and talks about the righteous person dying early.
Yeah, but the righteous one, though he die early, shall be at rest. That really goes against the grain, doesn't it? We usually think long life equals good fortune.
Absolutely, and this tackles that head on. It asks us to redefine honor, a life well lived.
How so?
It says, for the age that is honorable comes not with the passing of time, nor can it be measured in terms of years.
So it's not about the number on your birthday cake.
Not at all. It says, rather understanding passes for gray hair, and an unsullied life is the attainment of old age.
Wow. So wisdom and integrity are old age in a sense. What do you find most powerful about that redefinition?
For me, it's the idea that you can reach a kind of spiritual maturity, a completeness, quickly.
Right, regardless of the years lived. The text even says, Having become perfect in a short while, he reached the fullness of a long career.
It's like virtue accelerates your completion.
And why does this happen? Why might the righteous die early, according to this?
What the reason given is divine favor, essentially. For his soul was pleasing to the Lord, therefore he sped him out of the midst of wickedness.
Like being pulled out of danger,
Yeah,
protected from the world's corruption.
that's the sense of it, a kind of shielding.
Yeah.
But interestingly, the text points out that other people don't get it. But the people saw and did not understand, nor did they take that consideration into account. Why do you think people would miss that perspective?
Well, it's natural, isn't it? When someone good dies young, we feel it's unfair. A life cut short. Tragic.
We see the loss, not the potential deliverance.
Exactly. This text flips that narrative. Suggests it could be an act of grace.
And this lack of understanding from observers, and it kind of sets up the next part, doesn't it? The idea of future judgment, vindication.
How does that link work?
Because the text says, yes, the righteous one who has died will condemn the sinful who live.
Condemn them.
By their very existence, their completed life, however short, and youth, swiftly completed, will condemn the many years of the unrighteous who have grown old.
So the short, virtuous life becomes a sort of silent judgment on the long, maybe empty lives of others. What effect do you think that's meant to have on you, the listener?
It's a really potent image, I think. Makes you reconsider what condemnation might even mean in this context.
And the fate described for the wicked. It's not pretty. Held in contempt, becoming dishonored corpses, unceasing mockery among the dead. Pretty stark.
Very stark. The descriptions of their fall are dramatic. It says, God shall strike them down speechless and prostrate and rock them to their foundations.
Wow.
They shall be utterly laid waste, and their memory shall perish. It's not just punishment, it's erasure. What
Yeah.
stands out to you there?
The finality. Total obliteration, even of memory. And it leads to this fearful reckoning. Their own deeds convicting them to their face. No hiding.
No escape from accountability. But then, the contrast. The righteous at the same judgment
How are they portrayed?
with complete confidence. Then shall the righteous one with great assurance confront his oppressors who set at naught his labors.
Great assurance. Why? What gives them that confidence, do you think?
It has to be the knowledge of how they lived, right? Their integrity even when it was hard.
Sticking to their guns, essentially.
Yeah. And the wicked, their reaction is shock, fear, regret. Seeing this, the wicked shall be shaken with dreadful fear and be amazed at the unexpected salvation. They just didn't see it coming.
Not at all. And their lament. It's quite something. They look at the righteous person and say, this is the one whom once we held as a laughingstock.
And as a type for mockery, fools that we were.
Exactly. His life we accounted madness and death dishonored. Such a painful realization of how wrong they were.
It really shows how easily society can get values completely backward, judging by surface appearances.
Absolutely. And they finally see the truth, see how he is accounted among the heavenly beings, how his lot is with the holy ones. Total reversal.
Their regret seems immense.
It is. They talk about having strayed from the way of truth, never seeing the light of righteousness. They look back at their pride, their
Let
wealth.
them see it as meaningless.
Utterly meaningless. The text uses these incredible metaphors. Their lives vanished like a shadow,
Gone in an instant.
or a fleeting rumor, a ship that leaves no wake, a bird leaving no trace in the air, an arrow whose path just disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah, that arrow one gets me. Suggests effort, direction, but ultimately, nothing left behind.
Exactly. All signifying total impermanence and their hope, compared to things just as flimsy.
Like what?
Chaff borne by the wind, fine storm-driven snow, smoke scattered by the wind, or like the memory of a traveler who only stayed one night.
So easily blown away. Utterly temporary.
But then, the final picture for the righteous. Completely different.
Okay, what's their destiny?
But the righteous live forever, and in the Lord is their recompense, and the thought of them is with the Most High.
The thought of them is with the Most High. What does that imply to you?
It feels like ultimate recognition, lasting honor, being remembered where it matters most.
And the reward is described quite majestically, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. They get a splendid crown, the beautiful diadem, from the hand of the Lord.
Nice.
And God himself is their protector. Zeal is armor, righteousness a breastplate, judgment a helmet, holiness a shield.
Anger like a sword. It's this image of complete divine protection and armament.
It really is, and it all builds to this huge, almost cosmic battle against wickedness. Lightning, hailstones, raging seas, mighty winds.
Leading to the total overthrow of lawlessness. A very definitive end.
A powerful statement about virtue ultimately winning out.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what are the core takeaways for you listening in?
Well, we've really dug into this idea that virtue has this enduring power, a legacy that goes beyond, well, even family lines.
hmm And contrasted that with wickedness, which might look flashy, but is ultimately fleeting, rootless, no real substance.
And we've challenged that common idea about lifespan, right? That true honor, real old age, comes from wisdom and integrity, not just years on the clock.
Yeah, that redefinition is crucial. And finally, this picture of ultimate judgment where the righteous are vindicated and the wicked, well, they face the music.
These ancient ideas, they really do invite you, I think, to look at your own life. What do you really value? What kind of impact matter?
Goes beyond the surface stuff.
Definitely. It's about character, legacy in the truest sense.
Okay, so here's a final thought maybe for you to chew on. What kind of crown are you aiming for? Is it the temporary applause, the fleeting success?
Or is it that lasting recognition, the one that comes from a life of integrity, of virtue?
Maybe thinking about that stark contrast the text draws, the wicked's temporary gains versus the righteous person's eternal reward.
Yeah.
Maybe that offers some clarity, some direction for you.